Hello and welcome to City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia for the Richmond Kickers versus Orlando City B at City Stadium. My name is Daryl Grove, I'll be your play-by-play guy, and I'm joined by Taylor Rockwell, my colour commentary guy.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. We are seeing two teams with streaks.
Yes.
We see Orlando City B with a 7-match unbeaten streak, but there's an asterisk.
There is.
It's 6 ties
Yes.
in the last 6 games.
I think that's why it's unbeaten and not like winning streak.
Winning streak.
Yeah. For the Kickers, the streak you mentioned there would be winless in the last 3, won way back when, but haven't really won since then. A couple draws, a couple losses, looking to get back on track and get out of the bottom tonight by the Kickers.
Currently bottom of the USL Eastern Conference. Okay, starting lineups, Taylor. Who we got? Who we got for the Richmond Kickers?
For the Richmond Kickers, in goal we've got Matt Turner, as is customary. We think it's going to be Finley Wyatt, William Yambi, Evan Lee, Alex Lee across the back. With
a couple of injuries there. Malin Roberts is missing, for example.
Braden Troyer as well has been the mainstay in the defense this season. Samuel Asante and Oscar Umar probably going to be the 2 holding midfielders, with Matthew Bolduc, Sonny Jane, and Raul Gonzalez ahead of them. We think Luis Fernando up top, although that might be a switch of Raul Gonzalez and Luis Fernando. Okay,
we'll look out for some step-overs. Raul Gonzalez, if he is up top, he scored a goal last week, so we'll keep an eye on that. For Orlando City B, it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. We can see Seb Hines and Zach Carroll, your 2 centre-backs. Kevin Alston and Rafael Ramos are your full-backs. Central midfield is going to be Paul Clowes, Tony Rocha and Lewis Neal. The wide guys, Pierre da Silva, number 98 on the left. Keep an eye on him. And 77, Austin Martz on the right. The man up top is Haji Barry, number 13, 4 goals this season.
And he's going to be the player to watch for Orlando City B. As we see him warming up here.
You can watch him right now on your screen.
You can indeed. 4 goals on the season, as you said, will be the main attacking option up top, although he does have Pierre da Silva helping out with some assists in behind.
He certainly does. Yeah, he'll lay it off and then he'll run in behind, and the Kickers will have to watch out for him.
And especially keep an eye on him with the press we've seen from Orlando City B. Haji Berry going to be putting that Richmond Kickers defense, that inexperienced defense, under pressure early and often, we think.
So who's our player to watch for the Richmond Kickers?
For the Richmond Kickers, it's going to be that man, Raul Gonzalez. You see him doing some keepy-uppies there, I believe your people call them. We call them juggling around here. Indeed. We think he might be starting up top or maybe out wide. Either way, he's a potent part of the attack. Scored the goal last week against Pittsburgh.
It's up for goal of the week, but it's up against Didier Drogba, so I'm not optimistic. But keep an eye on him today. He can bend a cross in and he can shoot from distance. We'll see if he does that for the Richmond Kickers today. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, it's first half kickoff.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
How can an elephant go undercover to ensure great customer service? Well, it goes a little something like this. I carefully prepare my disguise.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a tow truck on the way to you right now.
I approach with the utmost subtlety.
Absolutely.
I observe undetected.
Repairs include a lifetime guarantee.
And slip away without a trace.
What?
When my customers are happy, I'm happy. And when I'm happy...
More care, less cost. Discover the elephant difference at elephant.com. At CBS 6 News, we aren't confined by 4 walls. Our office is out here, in our community.
We have missed 5 seconds, but we have kicked off. We are underway at City Stadium. We have Richmond Kickers in red going right to left, and you have Orlando City B, hereafter OCB, in white going left to right.
For those who are worried, it is still 0-0. You did miss those first 5 seconds. Not too much action to have been missed so far.
Here's William Yombi with the ball. Squares it to Asante. Looks like Samuel Asante's going to be collecting that ball deep, making the Richmond Kickers tick.
Looks like the center back's going to be spreading wide. Samuel Asante dropping in. Other thing worth noting, looks like it's going to be Matthew Bolduc on the right, Raul Gonzalez on the left, with, as we thought, Luis Fernando up top for the Richmond Kickers.
Evan Lee meets that ball. Side foots it high into the air and out. Defending first. Orlando City B look as expected. Mart's on the right, Pierre da Silva on the left, Haji Barry up top. You saw him just checking to there, checking away, didn't get the ball.
Tony Roca and Paul Clauas in the middle there, doing the holding job as well. So we'll see how they match up with Samuel Asante and Oscar Umar.
As Alex Lee lays it back to Evan Lee, who clears it. It comes back in. Yombi says, let it run. Matt Turner's going to pick it up.
Also worth noting, was raining last night into this morning. We thought there might be thunderstorms this evening. Clear skies so far, but it has not cooled off. Instead, it's extra humid and extra hot.
Haji Berry is almost in on goal after a misplaced pass there.
Finley Wyatt looking to play it back, instead playing it right into the path of Haji Berry, who I think, number one, was caught out by that one, a little bit surprised to see the ball coming right at him. The field was also watered right before we started this game. I think it skipped a little bit more than he thought, a little bit faster. Otherwise, it might have been 1-0 to Orlando City B right away.
What was Finley Wyatt trying? He wasn't trying to lift it off the floor like that.
I think he was trying to put it back to maybe Evan Lee, and instead put it right between the two center backs.
Throw's going to come in from the left.
From Kevin Alston. We know he's got that long throw. You can see it there. Matt
Turner punches it out.
Punch.
And Alex Lee clears it. Actually, I wasn't sure who it was until I saw the length of the throw. Then I knew it was Kevin Alston. That's going to be a feature of Orlando City's game today. Bolduc plays it down the line. Sonny Jane holds it up. Bolduc again. Tried to put it right down the line. It has gone out of bounds. It's an OCB throw.
Anthony Pulis there, the Orlando City B coach, had the hand in the air. Wanted that call given far sooner than it came, but eventually got his throw in.
Another Alston throw. Barry chests it back. Pierre da Silva holds off defenders. Into the path of Barry. Barry tries to turn. Looks like he was fouled by Finley Wyatt. Pierre da Silva's going to be a man to watch, Taylor. Number 98 on the left. He was number 1 in the USL 20 under 20. He has got fast feet.
He does. He's also got fast assist-making abilities. Six assists on the season. Leading goal creator for Orlando City B so far this campaign.
There's a lot of players standing over this free kick right now. It seems there's a bit of an OCB huddle. Do they have a free kick playbook that they're putting out there?
Maybe they're trying to quickly rewatch the highlights from the Bethlehem Steel game. The Richmond Kickers played at home, conceding a free kick there and having the goal put in from about this distance. So maybe if they've got an accurate kick taker, it's going into the sun. Matthew Turner is going to have difficulty seeing this one.
See Matt Turner organising his wall there. He's saying left a bit, left a bit. I have never seen so many players stand over a free kick as OCB have right now.
Free kick by committee, I think.
Yeah, well, it seems like they have a plan. Haji Barry has stepped into the penalty area. He is joined by Zach Carroll, centre-back. Pierre da Silva stands over the ball. But it's struck over by Rafael Ramos. So I think they have a right-footed Rafael Ramos, left-footed Pierre da Silva combo going on there.
And I think my guess would be the next one, it might be Pierre da Silva taking it based on that take. That one went into the stands.
Pierre da Silva has a strong case, put it that way. All right, Matt Turner to take the goal kick for the Richmond Kickers. 0-0, 4 minutes in at City Stadium. Big long kick by Turner, down the middle. One in the air by Zach Carroll. Through ball is intercepted by Wyatt. Gives it to Oscar. Sorry, Sonny Jane. Sonny Jane coming deep. Jane gives it to Yombi. Gets it back. Now it's with Asante, Samuel Asante. I saw water fly as he played that ball. Umar was fighting in midfield, but Pierre da Silva comes away with it. Haji Barry was asking for that pass to be played ahead of him.
Looks like we will have a free kick here for Orlando City B. Yeah, as I said, Daryl, raining all last night, so you've got to imagine the field got plenty of water. So then when you water right before the game, you can see the evidence there in front of you, water flying up. It's going to be a soggy pitch, and that means that ball is going to be moving quickly this evening.
Ball is played back to Zach Carroll. Squares it to his centre-back partner, Seb Hines, formerly of Middlesbrough. Hines brings it forward. Lifts it into the path of Haji Barry. Barry takes it on his head. I think he's trying to flick it on for himself, but it's a little too heavy. It's out for a goal kick.
Fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC, channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
As Matt Turner prepares for this goal kick, Taylor, I'm realising that Richmond Kickers usually have some sort of target man. Luis Fernando is more of a sort of ball on the floor, dribbly kind of guy. So it's going to change the Kickers' game plan, I think, this week.
It will. I think you can see that already in the way that we saw Samuel Asante dropping in. We've seen Sonny Jane dropping in as well. I think it's going to be a lot of quick combinations through the middle with players rotating.
Lee puts it in the channel for Luis Fernando to chase, but it's all the way through to Earl Edwards in goal for OCB.
And then maybe some long balls on top. Because you do have that pace there. Luis Fernando, we know, is fast and tricky, so maybe you will try to see them beat that offside trap as much as they can.
It's interesting because watching OCB last week in the 2-2 draw with Cincinnati, they did look vulnerable from crosses. Oh, here's Pierre da Silva getting away from Alex Lee. Pierre da Silva still plays it across the floor. Yombi gets a block. Silva is back up, pokes it to Haji Barry. Haji Barry gives it back to him. Silva's shot is blocked by William Yombi.
Really nice interplay there from Orlando City B, especially from Pierre da Silva to get back on his feet after getting knocked down. Some nice combination play there with Haji Barry. Good defensive work from William Yambi. But some worrying signs from the Richmond Kickers. That's the third or fourth time we've seen them get beat on a long ball. A little bit sloppy, a little bit out of position. Maybe not ready for the sharpness of Orlando City B.
Crowd noticeably quiet here at City Stadium. I was checking it wasn't my noise-cancelling headphones. I took them off for a second. Little subdued. Corner comes in. Hines gets his head to it. He's headed it wide. It's going to roll out for a throw-in.
Kickers goalkeeper Matthew Turner there wanting a call, felt like he was obstructed. It seemed like maybe he just didn't get to that ball in time. Haji Barry looked like went up clean to me.
We're going to see this one more time. Whose head did connect here?
Excuse me, that was
It's
Seb
William
Hines.
Yambi.
Seb Hines was the one coming across, not Haji Barry, excuse me.
Here's Seb Hines on the ball. Lays it back to Zach Carroll. Under a bit of pressure. Kickers pressing. Here's Rafael Ramos, the right back. He goes back to Seb Hines. Hines to Zach Carroll. OCB switching the field now. It's out left with Rafael Ramos. Sorry, that is not Rafael Ramos. That's Tony Rocha. Tony Rocha gives it to Zach Carroll. And all the way back to Earl Edwards Jr. Nice low pass from Earl Edwards, but it's skipped and it's gone all the way through to Finley Wyatt. Pretty rare start for Finley Wyatt at left back here.
We're assuming that's because Braden Troyer, out with injury, is on the bench.
It's picked up by Pierre da Silva. Runs into Samuel Asante, holds on to the ball. Gives it to Kevin Alston, overlapping. Right-footed Alston plays it into the box. Yombi gets ahead to it. Jane flicks and turns with his head. It's a nice move. Sonny Jane outright to Alex Lee. Alex Lee looks downfield. Turns and goes back to Samuel Asante. It looks like maybe first option is to try and play it in behind for sort of the faster Luis Fernando to run onto. Second option is to go back and try and build again.
And then from a possession and then maybe defensive standpoint, I still can't quite tell if the Kickers are having trouble dealing with Orlando City B's attack, if they're having difficulty dealing with the pressure itself, or if they're maybe just a little bit sloppy. But either way,
it could be both.
They're pretty lucky to have it still be scoreless here at City Stadium.
Here's Samuel Asante looking to build an attack for the Kickers. He gives it to Finley Wyatt, gives it him back. Asante on the ball. Outside of the foot pass to Evan Lee. Lee starting in place of the injured Milan Roberts. I believe Connor Shinosky also injured. So a real big chance for Evan Lee here.
It's not going to be the deepest of benches we've seen from the Kickers, would be my guess.
One man on the bench is Frank Tayu, who normally brings a bit of buzz to City Stadium with his futsal skills and his aerial ability. So that may be someone we see later in the game if this isn't working out for the Kickers. I'm sure Luis Fernando will be excited about his chance to play centre forward, though.
I think we've seen him want to be up there. He tends to be out wide, as we said. Lots of flicks, lots of tricks. I think maybe he has a little bit more freedom to utilize those this evening playing up top.
Kickers maintaining some possession here. It's gone back to the back four. Now it's with Asante. Asante takes it forward. Gives it to Wyatt. Finley Wyatt on the left. Nutmegs Rafael Ramos. Raul Gonzalez picks it up. Raul Gonzalez puts it down the line for Finley Wyatt. OCB calling for offside, and they get it. Flag is up.
Good interplay there. One of the advantages of having Finley Wyatt in for the Richmond Kickers is that natural left-footed delivery. Braden Troyer usually has to cut it back to play that in with his right foot. Finley Wyatt can get that ball in. Unfortunately, in this situation for the Kickers, he can't get it in while being onside.
Very much offside Finley Wyatt there. Maybe just a little over-eager to make that overlap.
Maybe a little bit over-eager to make up for a couple mistakes he's had so far in this game.
Long ball for Barry. Evan Lee wins it in the air. I'd like to know the story of how Evan Lee, centre-back, got the number 8 shirt on a team that the Richmond Kickers has so many central midfielders. There must have been someone else wanted that number 8 shirt. Raul Gonzalez collects in midfield. Puts it out left for Wyatt.
A man with a beard gets what he wants, Daryl Grove.
Is that right? Taylor with a beard. Finley Wyatt goes back to Raul Gonzalez. To Asante. Asante fires it outright. Alex Lee takes it on the thigh, but I think the way he turned knocked it out for an OCB throw.
Again, not to sound like a broken record here, but I think that is also the field conditions. That ball just skipping a little bit faster than Alex Lee would have thought. Maybe had a little bit more spin on it as well. Either way, it's going to be a throw-in for Orlando City B. Kickers, again, need to tighten up if they want to keep control of this ball.
I didn't know Alex Lee had hired you to represent him. Ball goes back to Zach Carroll. Carroll to his partner, Seb Hines. Hines brings it forward. You can see the field glistening. That water on it. Hines, big ball out left.
To clarify, I'm just explaining the situation. I'm still saying he probably should have handled that one pretty cleanly.
Pierre da Silva up against Alex Lee. Puts it out left for Kevin Alston, but he's overhit it. It's going to be shepherded out by Matt Baldock. I thought for a moment he wasn't going to sort of make it. The ball did slow up towards the end.
But I think you can see the aggressiveness there of the Orlando City B fullbacks. Kevin Alston getting in there, getting forward as quickly as he can, as often as he can, and causing some problems for the Kickers just with those overloads on either channel.
I mean, this is a guy that was an MLS All-Star. Long kick from Turner, clears the halfway line. Bounces through. Luis Fernando nods it back. Baldock takes it on his head, on his chest, now with his feet. Here he goes. Matt Baldock into Sonny Janet. Sonny Janet at the top of the box. Left-footed. Finds Raul Gonzalez. The flag is up. Raul Gonzalez is also offside. So far, this Orlando City line holding really well, which is not what they did last week against FC Cincinnati.
It is not. They looked pretty sloppy last week, beaten very early in the game, then beaten immediately after that to concede a penalty, which was saved, but still gave up some early opportunities from the crosses. Maybe that's one problem the Kickers are going to have with Luis Fernando up top. You're not going to have too much of a threat coming from out wide.
Speaking of threats from out wide, here's Rafael Ramos down the line for Martz. He's overhit it though, and William Yombi can let that run through.
Rafael Ramos, they're pretty frustrated with that ball, and I think thought maybe he just played it a little bit softer, instead put it out of bounds. Had some words with himself is the way I'm going to explain that one.
Rafael Ramos does not heart carry town. Matt Turner, ready to take the goal kick. He goes long again. Oscar Umar was up. Kevin Alston won it. It's going to be a Kickers throw. It's looking to me like Oscar Umar is the guy who's going to have the best chance of winning headers for Kickers on those long balls.
I mean, you look at the other players in the midfield for the Richmond Kickers. It is Oscar Umar. Then you've got Sonny Jana. You've got Samuel Sante. Neither one particularly tall. So I think he's winning the giant competition by comparison.
Jane was pressing on his own. Carroll comes away with it, left-footed. Evan Lee steps, meets it, turns, gives it to Alex Lee. Alex Lee turns back, fires it left-footed. I think he was looking for Sonny Jane, but overhit it. It's gone through to Earl Edwards.
What he was hearing, though, was Anthony Pulis from the sidelines screaming at his players to step, to press, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly why that ball was forced all the way back to the goalkeeper there. The Orlando City B coach pretty pleased with his players' work ethic, especially in this heat and humidity.
And they do look dangerous when they press. It seems like they choose their moments as well. It's sort of hold, 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 and then all go.
When you hear screaming from the sidelines, that's when it means it's time to go. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
If you're screaming in a Welsh accent, that's when it's time to go.
And if you hear screaming in a Burton-upon-Trent accent, I think it is, then it's Lee Cowlishaw of the Richmond Kickers screaming.
He's got kind of a transatlantic twang at this point. It's Paul Close with the ball. Gives it to Seb Hines. Hines goes short to Ramos. Pressure from the Kickers now. Raul Gonzalez. And now Jane chasing Hines. Goes all the way back to Edwards. Edwards waves his teammates forward.
Neither team in too much of a rush to get this one back into play.
It goes long. It's going to be Yombi to head it back into midfield. Headed back his way. Won again by William Yombi. Can we go 3 in a row? Close. No, he headed it down. It's collected by Samuel Asante, who let it run over the line. Sort of a brief protest from Asante, but he knew, right? He knew. Rafael Ramos with the throw. Takes it quickly to Paul Close, who I believe played 1 game for the Richmond Kickers back in the day. Seb Hines. Luis Fernando got a block on it. Baldock collects it in midfield and tries to play Fernando through. Hines was there with the defensive header.
You're absolutely right about Klaus. You're also right if you were thinking that Scott Thompson did as well. Scott Thompson on the bench for Orlando City B,
really?
played the second half of the season last year for the Richmond Kickers.
Throwing taken quickly. Asante managed to avoid Haji Barry. Now Evan Lee to William Yumby. Yumby comes forward with it. Kickers advancing up the field. Finley Wyatt on the left here. Not sure that turn was intentional, but he maintained possession. Gave it to Sonny Janet. Now Janet to Evan Lee. Kickers switching sides. I'm not seeing tons of movement from the Kickers. They're moving the ball left and right, but it's quite static through the middle. Alex Lee dribbles forward, dribbles into trouble. Orlando City B have the ball back. Gonzalez wins it. Turns. Gives it to Janet. Nice move from Janet. Now Gonzalez turns. And the referee has blown his whistle. I'm not sure what for. Oh, I see Alex Lee is still down.
I'm not sure if that was what it was for. Instead, he gave a free kick to Orlando City B. I'm not sure what the call there was. Maybe a little bit of dissent from Sonny Janet. Maybe he just left a boot in there on that one challenge.
Let's take one more look at it.
That was the challenge on Alex Lee. He stays down. He is back on his feet now, getting back into position slowly for the Richmond Kickers.
It's going to be a free kick at the back either way. Zach Carroll plays it long down the middle for Haji Barry to chase. That is not a bad ball. Matt Turner is off his line to collect it. That ball was worth a go.
For a second there, I thought like maybe he'd called play just to make sure Alex Lee was okay, and then Orlando City B played the ball all the way back to the Kickers. Then I realized that no, it was actually Haji Barry running onto it at a pretty fair pace.
Here's Raul Gonzalez into the path of Luis Fernando. Hines does well to step across. Seb Hines winning everything so far.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be a problem for the Richmond Kickers. That is probably why you might see Frank Teyu, as we talked about, or maybe Mikey Minatilo coming into this game. Bigger, more obvious aerial threat if the Kickers are trying to put that ball into the box later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Hines is a guy who's played Premier League, he's played Championship, he's played MLS. It's going to be a tough guy to go up against. Gonzalez.
Some shouts for foul throw there from the Orlando City B bench and team.
Alex Lee crosses behind.
No foul given, but Alex Lee's cross might indicate maybe a ball don't lie sort of situation.
I couldn't tell from it. Here's Zach Carroll. Gives it to Alston. Alston goes back to Carroll. Down the line. Ball still in play. It's been right on the line for a good 10 seconds now. Baldock comes away with it, but referee has given a free kick or a throw-in. We'll see if this ball is on the floor or in someone's hands.
Looks like it's going to be a free kick there. Maybe just a little bit of a jersey tug there. Matthew Baldock draws that foul.
And we're back in play with William Yumby. Out left to Finley Wyatt. Wyatt takes the touch, goes back to Yumby. Into midfield for Sonny Janet. Heavy pass from Janet. Asante has time to let it run through to Matt Turner. Turner goes out left. It's going to be Wyatt to try and challenge. Ramos lets it run back instead to Seb Hines, collects the ball in the back.
As best I can tell, what the Richmond Kickers are trying to do is have Samuel Asante drop way in between the center backs just because Orlando City B are sending two forward. It's usually Austin Martin and Haji Barry. So I think they're trying to maybe create a 3v2 situation. What's happening, though, is that the Kickers are still a little bit sloppy, and when Samuel Asante does get that ball, there's now a big gap all the way up to those other midfielders, so he really can't play it forward, can't play it out wide because of that pressure, so ends up having to drop it all the way back to Matt Turner.
So how do we fix that, Professor Rockwell?
I think you have to have Sonny Janet and Oscar Umar drop in a little bit more, just be a little bit more of a supportive options. Keep those triangles.
Meanwhile, here's Finley Wyatt. Tried to play it in to Gonzalez. Collected by Asante. Now Oscar Umar. Out right to Alex Lee. Lee looks up, turns back, gives it to Umar. And that ball is hit slightly behind Yumby, so Kicker's going to be forced deeper.
And going back to your question of how do you fix it, Daryl, I think you were absolutely right that the Kickers are looking for that long ball. They are trying to beat that offside trap, but as a result, you're keeping 3 and 4 men forward, 4 or 5 men back. There's a big gap in the middle that you got to try to bridge. Maybe Sonny Janet's pace can do it.
Well, he just ran into Kevin Austin tackle. It's an OCB throw. Big throw down the line, looking for Barry. Barry gets a head to it and wins a free kick.
Folks at home, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL. I felt the need to get the WWW in there.
You always do. It's for people on that 90s internet. Ball is with Earl Edwards.
I keep waiting for you to do your AOL dial-up impression, but thus far, no dice.
Hines gives it to Zach Carroll. Carroll to Alston. Orlando slowing it down. They've won a throw-in. We are 21 minutes in at City Stadium. You see head coach Lee Cowdershaw there giving instructions to Sonny Janet. Ball is out right with Rafael Ramos here. Ramos up against Raul Gonzalez. Not going to take him on. Gives it to Cloas instead. Cloas into Neil. Dispossessed. Raul Gonzalez finds Oscar Umar now. Umar strides forward, was trying to find Luis Fernando. He'd pulled too far left. Now Neil into Pierre da Silva. One times it into the path of Tony Rocha. Tony Rocha over the top. Couldn't quite find Austin Martz because that was a great interception by Finley Wyatt. Wyatt into Janet. Janet's won a free kick. You can see those quick combinations that Orlando City keep having, though. That I think that's the sort of passing that could break a defence open.
Absolutely.
Here's Baldock trying to do the same. Runs into Orlando City defenders. Tony Rocha spins around. Orlando City have taken the free kick quickly. Here's Haji Barry. Barry up against Evan Lee. Barry cuts back inside, still holding on to the ball. Plays it out right. Rafael Ramos is going to have to chase to get that, but he's got it. Here's Rafael Ramos. He's up against Finley Wyatt. He's got Austin Mertz as an option. Got past Finley Wyatt after the tackle. Crosses to the far post. Alex Lee heads it behind.
Yeah, I think got past Finley Wyatt was a very generous way of putting that one. Good tackle there by Finley Wyatt, but maybe just doesn't get enough behind it.
Yeah.
So it ends up with Rafael Ramos, who will now, it looks like, drift across to take that corner as well.
Let's see this one more time. It's not a bad cross at all.
It's not, and I think upon first viewing, I thought Alex Lee maybe could have taken his time, settled that one, and gotten it out. But when you watch it again, you see those Orlando City B players coming in, crashing in the back of the goal. You can't really take the chance.
Safety
You got to put it
first.
out.
Safety first. Ball is served in low. Cleared by Raul Gonzalez. It's going to be Pierre da Silva to take the throw. We haven't really seen any magic from Pierre da Silva yet, the type of thing we know he's capable of, but we have seen some nice short passes, which based on the last time I saw him a year ago, I'm going to say that's an improvement in his game.
Why is that?
Just like quicker play, like more simple, smart passes instead of always trying to do something super tricky.
Basically picking his moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing simple until the time presents itself where you don't need to be simple.
Big throw again from Alston. Headed by Oscar Umar. Janet takes it. Tony Rocha collects it though. Gives it to Alston. Down the line. Here's Pierre da Silva. Cuts back. Nice move from Pierre da Silva. And he tries to go around Samuel Asante, and he has. He still has the ball. Silva fires it in low. Evan Lee's missed it. Haji Barry has it. It's in the back of the net. It is 1-0 OCB. Great work from Pierre da Silva down the wing. Not great defending in between, but an excellent finish from Haji Barry.
It's exactly what you said from Pierre da Silva. He does the smart thing as that loose ball is coming in. He gives Sonny Jane just a little bit of a nudge. Wrong foot, Sonny Jane is able to get the ball. Then he pulls out that bit of skill, gets past the kickers. Looked like he'd taken too heavy of a touch, looked like it was going out, instead plays a good ball into the box. It looked like Evan Lee couldn't deal with it cleanly, and it's 1-0 to Orlando City B.
Let's take one more look at this goal, engineered by Draper Aiden. Back of the net, Haji Barry, that's his 5th goal of the season.
And I think Evan Lee maybe just thought that ball was going to go out of bounds, had relaxed a little bit, then when it comes in, he doesn't have time to deal with it cleanly, so instead it just takes that deflection into the path of Haji Barry. Haji Barry with a really nice finish to the back corner.
I'll say this is I think the first time I've seen Haji Barry play, he looks like he's got that sort of confidence of a striker where any chance he's not thinking about anything else. That ball's going past Matt Turner. Excellent goal for OCB. 1-0 to them in the 25th minute here in City Stadium. Kickers with a lot to do. Loose pass picked off by Seb Hines. Pass into the path of Raul Gonzalez. He's onside. Gonzalez still has the ball in the box. Gonzalez shoots. Earl Edwards gets a hand to it and catches his own parry. Early opportunity to equalise for the Kickers there.
What's that old cliche, Dale Grove?
I don't know. What is that old cliche?
You're most vulnerable right after you score?
Oh,
Something like that.
Unless Earl Edwards is in goal, I think is the other part of that cliche. Edwards kicks it out of bounds.
I hadn't heard that part. That seems very specific.
It's an Orlando saying.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
Finley Wyatt throws it in. Collected by Jane. Gets it back. Wyatt goes to Samuel Asante. Into the feet of Jane. Out back to William Yambi. OCB not pressing here. They, like I said, they seem to pick their moments. They're inviting the kickers on right now. Here's Alex Lee. Goes to Oscar Umar.
I used to play poker way back when everybody used to play poker. And it reminds me of like the safest time to know that someone isn't bluffing is right after they've just won. Because you're not just then going to like rake in all your chips and then have the wherewithal to bluff at the same time. Feels like when you're Orlando City B, if you've just scored, you're not then going to go right out and press. Yeah. Maybe you're going to invite that pressure in a little bit, send the kickers forward, then maybe try to counter really quickly.
That makes sense. Even as someone who's never played poker, that makes sense. But here comes Baldock. Baldock gives it to Luis Fernando. The flag is up. Richmond Kickers offside once again.
That one looked a little bit tighter than the past couple have been for the Kickers. Even so, maybe just a yard, maybe just a step offside for Luis Fernando. But some good interplay from the Kickers. Good work to win that ball back. Just a little bit sloppy in keeping that line. And yeah, it does look like maybe just as that ball was played, Luis Fernando took a step.
It's very impressive offside line from Orlando City B. Especially compared to last week when the offside line was not even close to this organised. I think they've been working on it in practice.
It's a safe bet.
Edwards goes long. Evan Lee gets ahead to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... They were probably working on their offside line, and maybe they're like aerial defending, and I think maybe most Premier League teams are going to be working on their aerial defending after the opening goals from this weekend. Defending not at a premium so far.
Mart's trying to go left and right to get some space. Gets the cross in right-footed. Alex Lee gets ahead to it. Baldock to chase. Matt Baldock gets there, but it's tackled. Gets the ball back. Drops it for Alex Lee, who clears it to Luis Fernando, who's never going to win a header against Zach Carroll. But does get the ball on the floor and turns and gets away from him. Zach Carroll had to pull him back. That has to be a Richmond Kickers free kick, and I see the referee reaching for his pocket.
I think it's got to be a free kick and a booking there, and it will be. Looks like Zach Carroll's going to go into the book. First player booked this evening for Zach Carroll. I mean, that's obvious. That's an obvious foul. Yeah, it looked like Luis Fernando with that little bit of skill was going to be an on goal, or at least launching that counterattack. You can see that bit of skill there. Nice touch and then go from Luis Fernando. And
I'm not sure that he needed to do that now I see how many Orlando City B players were behind the ball. I'm going to say it's a needless booking from Carroll this early in the game.
Yeah, but I think in that moment you kind of can't risk it, because if you do pause to look around, given the pace that Luis Fernando has, maybe by the time you've, like if the situation is that maybe there isn't anyone to cover, by the time that you've gauged that situation, he might be 5 yards away from you.
It's also no regrets pullback. I regret nothing. Jane at right.
I think given that it didn't work out, I'm going to call it a no regrets pullback.
Kevin Olsen with a throw. We know he can throw big. He's looking downfield. Is he looking all the way to Haji Barry? He certainly is, and he finds him. But the loose ball went to Oscar Umar, who's given it to Finley Wyatt, attacking down the left for the Kickers now. Finley Wyatt crosses to the far post. Header by Jane. Did it take a deflection on the way?
It doesn't matter, but well, he was offside, it looks like.
Also that.
Tony Jane, I think, expecting that ball to come maybe just a half step faster. Thought that ball would be delivered quickly. Instead it wasn't, and drifted offside as a result. Some good play there by the Sun to keep that one out of the goal. I'm assuming that's what happened there.
Yeah, I think Wyatt's cross was sort of directly into the... Not directly into the Sun, that would be very off target. Lee takes it, gives it to Evan Lee. Give it to Matt Turner. You see Orlando City pressing here. Lewis Neal is all the way up. Turner clears it to Baldock. Asante goes crossfield to Finley Wyatt. Wyatt takes on his chest. Good first time pass into Luis Fernando. Now Fernando accelerates down the left. He's up against Rafael Ramos. Pokes it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez holds on to it, gives it to Umar. Umar turns back the other way.
Really nice defensive work there from Orlando City B. They were trying to press. The press got bypassed, but they got into a really nice defensive shape, caused problems for the Kickers, forced them all the way back.
Now here's Baldock down the right. To Alex Lee. Alex Lee in his orange cleats crosses to the far post. Gonzalez was up. Edwards punched it clear. Jane takes on the chest. Really nice touch. Left-footed into the path of Baldock. Gets it back. Jane from the top of the box. Shoots left-footed. It's wide.
Thank you to our partners at the Richmond Window Corporation.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. While Orlando City B gets set to take this goal kick, you get a replay here of that Sonny Jane shot. Nothing wrong there, didn't see a bobble or anything, just maybe didn't get his hips around it, didn't get the right shooting form as he took that one.
Alex Lee meets the header. Yumbi, first time pass. Umar, first time pass. Into Asante to Baldock. Still Samuel Asante. Out left to Finley Wyatt. Takes it forward again. They're giving him space to cross. Crosses low, it comes off of Rafael Ramos, and it's collected by Earl Edwards in goal.
I gotta say, I know there's plenty of time left in this first half, but I would say we know the Kickers don't like to make too many adjustments at halftime, too many changes. I would say this game is kind of screaming out for those sort of changes. I think Lee Calishaw would do well to maybe get a little bit more energy, a little bit more life into the stack. It's been a very kind of lethargic game so far, some sloppy moments, certainly some creative moments for both sides, but I think if the Richmond Kickers want to get back into this one, they're going to need an injection of life pretty quickly.
Asante's through ball to Fernando was blocked. Austin Martz comes and collects the loose ball. Slight tackle from Finley Wyatt. Some good competitive stuff down on this near side.
It's been a good battle between Wyatt and Austin Martz so far. We'll see how that one keeps going. As the sun sets, maybe it gets a little bit cooler, intensifies that one a little bit more.
Hines to Carroll on a booking. Gives it to Tony Rocha. Back to Carroll. Now Rocha, light pressure from the Kickers. He's played it forward. I think Haji Barry's going to be offside if he touches this. Yep, flag is up. Haji Barry offside. And might be getting a talking to from the referee for kicking the ball away. Not a card, just a warning maybe.
I'm going to say I really dislike that new rule. I really, really do. Like, he's offside. We know he's going to get it, but now you have to wait until Haji Barry actually makes contact with the ball. It just seems a little bit silly.
Frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if you're the team that like played that offside line, now when he touches the ball 30 yards away, suddenly you're taking the free kick from back there.
Yeah. Here's Samuel Asante. Goes through the middle for the Kickers. Tried to lift it over the back of the defence. Hines got a head to it and has nodded it all the way back to Earl Edwards. I'm not sure that was the full contact that Hines wanted, but it got there.
I mean, it got there and it got away from Sonny Jane and any other Richmond Kickers that were around. I think it's a pretty smart move there just to make sure that you get a little bit on it just to get it away from the attack and into the hands of the goalkeeper eventually.
Job done. Hines to Carroll. OCB look in no rush to take this ball forward, leading 1-0 away from home in the 34th minute at City Stadium.
For their part, the Richmond Kickers don't seem like in much of a rush to put them under pressure.
I've just seen Oscar Umar and Samuel Asante wave each other forward. So it seems like there's a bit of a push from the Kickers to try and put Orlando under pressure. Orlando sending a message when you're playing it back and forth across your centre backs. You're sending the message.
Come and
we're
get
not
it.
going anywhere. Come and get it. Yeah, like Neo in the Matrix.
I don't remember that scene.
When he just waves Agent Smith forward.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the time that he and Morpheus passed the ball back.
That scene was cut. Well, probably not. It was probably in the sequel. Here's Paul Clovis in midfield. Clovis goes outright to Rafael Ramos. Ramos back to Seb Hines, who really has seen a lot of the ball in defence and in attack. Hines holds off Fernando, gives it to Austin Martz. Nice touches from Austin Martz. Martz turns away from Finley Wyatt. He's left in behind. He's got space. He goes out right to Rafael Ramos. Ramos up against Raul Gonzalez. Crosses it high to the back post. Pierre da Silva nods it, looking for Luis Nil. Martz from the top of the box. It's blocked. It goes wide. Raul Gonzalez clears. Collected by Tony Rocha. Now Kevin Alston to Zach Carroll. Orlando slowed it down a bit after that burst of activity. Hines into Luis Nil. Luis Nil to Rocha. To Da Silva. Pierre da Silva turns. Gives it to Rocha. It's out left with Kevin Alston. Alston up against Alex Lee. Alston looking for room to cross. Eventually, he wins the free kick. I think he did really well there. As a right-footed guy, he couldn't find any space to cross with his right.
I think he did well there, but that was kind of the worst type of defending from the Richmond Kickers. There are 3 different players. None of them really wanted to commit, so instead all 3 of them kind of standing there and then slowly converging. Nobody wants to commit to be the one to kind of initiate that tackle, so instead all 3 go in a little bit clumsily and concede a free kick in a 3v1 situation.
In a tough spot as well.
And well, Orlando City B, the delegation decides who takes that when we get a replay there of that shot from Martz.
Was it Yombi blocked it?
I think it might have been William Yombi. Either way, it was good technique from Martz to get that one, what would have been on frame, and a nice interception there by William Yombi.
And confirmation from the production booth that it was William Yombi who got the block in.
Thanks, producer Mike.
Free kick served in low, top of the box. Pierre da Silva shoots, hits the bar. Bolduc heads it out. Collected at the top by Rafael Ramos. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but he has put it out for a goal kick.
Daryl Grove, I know you're a fan of master set piece theater. I would say that's exactly what that was. A really nice run from Pierre da Silva to create that separation, to get in, find himself in some space, makes good contact with it. Could have easily put that one over, instead puts it onto the bar. I know he probably won't be too thrilled that it doesn't go into the back of the net, but some still really nice work from Orlando City B there.
Here's Bolduc, who's looked fairly bright for the Kickers. It's going to be a free kick to OCB.
The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
You just saw that Pierre da Silva shot one more time.
And then the Rafael Ramos clearance?
Yeah, I think he was trying to just lift it over the Kickers' defense for someone to run onto. Here's a long ball for Barry. Lee takes it on the chest. Evan Lee down the line, out of bounds. It's going to be an OCB throw-in. 38th minute here at City Stadium.
You mentioned
OCB with a deserving lead.
I would say so. You mentioned it early in the game, a very quiet crowd so far. I think that crowd has stayed pretty quiet. Richmond Kickers have had some opportunities, but more offsides than decent chances.
And here's Da Silva in the corner. He has 3 Richmond Kickers players around him. Still has the ball. Gives it to Barry. Barry gives it to Neil. Neil first times it into the path of Martz, but the flag is up for offside. So the Richmond Kickers offside trap works as well.
It does. Good movement there from Austin Martz coming inside. Just drifted a bit too far. Does get that offside call. But again, some nice fluid attacking play from Orlando City B.
I'm quite impressed with Austin Martz from what I've seen.
Yeah, at first I was inclined to think maybe Finley Wyatt was struggling a bit. Maybe that's more of a testament to the ability of Austin Martz as opposed to the weakness of Finley Wyatt.
Here's Haji Barry. Barry holding off defenders. Wins a throw-in for OCB. I also think Finley Wyatt has a lot to offer when he gets forward with those crosses.
Absolutely. I think he just hasn't had many occasions to get forward.
Alston down the line to Haji Barry. Barry holds it up, gives it back to Kevin Alston. To Zach Carroll. Carroll turns. Bit of pressure from Luis Fernando. Loose ball in midfield. Collected by Oscar Umar. Here's Oscar Umar now. Finds Sonny Jane. Jane has Raul Gonzalez outside of him. Gonzalez is onside if he gets to this ball. Earl Edwards is out to collect it.
Just a bit overhit there from Sonny Jane. A good run overlapping from Raul Gonzalez, but can't quite get to it, and instead calmly collected by Earl Edwards.
It looks like some arguing at the halfway line here. Referee's gone over to sort things out. That's why you can see Earl Edwards on your screen just waiting. Referee ready to be the arbiter.
Yeah, it looks like it is Luis Neal and Samuel Asante are the two having the most words. While the referee sorts this one out, looks like a couple Kickers players are going to go over to get some water. Maybe the referee is going to go consult with his 4th official, see what exactly the situation is.
I can't say that I saw it. I was focused on what was happening down the attacking end.
As was I. But it looks like William Yambi was the one to come in and kind of separate the players, calm things down a little bit, although whenever you've got a little bit of shoving going on, more shoving doesn't necessarily calm stuff down.
How's your lip reading?
Not very good. I saw no in there. That's about it.
So an unofficial water break. Not bad on a night where it's 70-something degrees.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what this is, although it seems like maybe it's become an official water break, and it's definitely a yellow card given to Samuel Asante Fourth official maybe confirming that Asante either maybe had a few too many words or a little bit too much contact. Samuel Asante continuing to have words with the official.
Yombe doing a captain's job, separating Asante from the referee.
Watch CBS 6 Chief Meteorologist Zach Gamble giving you an inside look at the weather outside weeknights on CBS 6 News.
So it looks like it's going to be a drop ball. The referee's calling for that ball at midfield.
William Yambi, meanwhile, walks past Samuel Asante, points to his head, gives him a little bit of a talking to.
Yeah, focus.
But maybe this is what happens late in the season when you are struggling to get those results, when things aren't going your way, when you're 1-0 down at home. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult for Samuel Asante, who we know has no problem having a word with the official, to stop having those words with the official.
It seems like William Yambi has talked him out. Top captain work.
Fans, it was a yellow card given to Samuel Asante of Richmond on the play.
Now the ball is going to go back to Earl Edwards, Orlando City B keeper, and I think play is going to restart from here.
Lewis Neal, as soon as the referee walked away, went over, continued to talk to Samuel Asante. I think doing a little bit of gamesmanship there, aware that Samuel Asante is still pretty agitated, maybe seeing if he can get a second yellow.
So Lewis Neal's an old pro, right? He played at Stoke, I think he played at DC. He's been around. He knows how to rile people up.
That will be one to keep an eye on with Samuel Asante on that yellow as we tick into the final moments of the first half.
Pressure from Lewis Neal. Kicks it long. Alston wins it in the air. Looks like he pushed Baldock in doing so.
Yeah, some hands in the back there just came over the top. Looks like Baldock went straight up, and Kevin Alston came in over the top.
Umar takes it quickly. Here's Evan Lee. Lee goes back to William Yombi. Yombi looks up, finds Finley Wyatt on the left in a little bit of space, but here comes Austin Martz to close it down. Wyatt hit that a little too hard. Ball is cleared to Oscar Umar. If you're just joining us, it is Richmond Kickers 0, Orlando City B 1 at City Stadium. Kickers are in red going right to left, Orlando in white going left to right. William Yombi, diagonal ball, looking for Alex Lee. Asante couldn't take that. Haji Barry has the ball, the goal scorer. Barry into the path of Austin Martz. That's a really good ball. Martz accelerates away from Finley White. He's in the box, crosses it low. Couldn't quite find Lewis Neal at the far post, but that was a good, fast move from OCB.
It was. Really nice transition play. Really good first touch from Austin Martz to set himself up. Looks for that ball across, just put a little bit too much on it. But really easily could have been 2-0 to Orlando City B off of the hard work from Austin Martz.
Let's see this one more time. Oh, that ball just didn't quite bend back enough.
I think that Lewis Neal was basically trying to stay on side, just making sure he didn't drift too much, and that's why he then couldn't accelerate to meet that ball in time.
We have a couple minutes until the 45 are up here. It's Rafael Ramos to take the throw on this near side for Orlando. Into Neal, gives it him back. Ramos, couple of rollovers, but then a weak pass. And a not great pass from Oscar Umar either. So Pierre da Silva has the ball. He's accelerating at the Kickers' defence. Pierre da Silva cuts it back on his left. Shoots from the top of the box. It's just over.
You can see the difference in the teams there. Richmond Kickers with easy possession and then easily giving it away. Orlando City B with the confidence going at them, making those moves, doing those step overs, taking those shots from wherever they feel like it.
Luis Fernando ran into Zach Carroll there. Referee says nothing in it, just a size difference.
I think halftime can't get here fast enough for the Kickers.
Earl Edwards in no rush, placing this goal kick. Obviously away team happy to go into the dressing room with a 1-0 lead.
I'd say so.
Edward kicks long. Alex Lee gets ahead to it. Lewis Neal wins it in midfield. Asante gets the loose ball, gives it to Boulder. Good fast pass from Boulder. Oscar Umar switches the field. If Finley White can keep this in, he can't. Not his fault, it was a heavily hit ball.
Kind of the story of the first half for the Kickers there.
Yeah, not quite connecting.
Like kind of seeing the right spots, seeing the opportunities, but then not being able to put the ball into those channels, into the feet of their fellow players.
I've got to say I'm a little worried about the Richmond Kickers' body language. Everyone looks kind of down, no one's geeing each other up. Meanwhile, Austin Martz is dribbling at the defence, and here's Haji Barry. Haji Barry cuts back. He had Evan Lee sliding like Billy Wright against Frank Puskás in 1950s.
Yeah, that looked like it was either going to be a goal or a penalty, so good work there from Evan Lee not to make any contact, and good work from Matt Turner to be off his line to collect.
Yeah. Here's Austin Martz again. Seb Hines. to Rafael Ramos.
Orlando City B on the ball. We know there have been 3 minutes of stoppage time, 3 minutes of time added on.
Of course, because we had that break. Yeah. Zach Carroll, Kevin Alston down the line. Lewis Neal up against Evan Lee. He's going to have some help from Alex Lee. Drops it back to Pierre da Silva. Tony Rocha gives it to Kevin Alston. Orlando knocking the ball around with ease here. Crossed in, headed out by Yumbi. Jane to Asante. Turns, goes back to Turner. Turner looking indecisive about where this is going to go.
Yeah, I think a lack of options there forces them long.
Carroll gets ahead to it. Baldock gets ahead to it. Luis Fernando. Let it run. Alston fights him all the way over the line. And wins a throw-in for his team.
You know, Daryl, you're absolutely right when you talk about the Richmond Kickers' body language. It is down. It is pretty low energy. The thing that I think
is... literally has his hands on his hips.
Yeah.
Right now.
But I think the thing that is even more maybe disconcerting if you are a Kickers fan is that it's a lot of frustration. You're seeing a bad pass hit, and then you're seeing that sort of, oh, well, maybe I'll do better next time. But it's not that sort of intensity that we come to expect from Lee Calishaw's teams. Again, it speaks to, we're bottom of the table. Once again, we're down. Just that sort of that feeling of here we go again. You can see it permeating the team.
It's going to have to be a rousing team talk at halftime from head coach Lee Calishaw, and maybe some tactical switches. Maybe we'll talk about that at halftime, Tyler.
That worked for me.
Alston goes back to Earl Edwards in goal. Earl Edwards kicks left. It's kept in. Haji Barry has it. Kickers come away with it. Here's Baldock. Baldock gets away from Barry. Baldock looking for a cross. Getting squeezed out, but goes back. Oscar Umar crosses. One in the air. Almost cleared by Lewis Neal. Rafael Ramos has won his team a throw. Played it off of Raul Gonzalez. Ramos down the line. Martz holding off Finley Wyatt. Gets away and around. I think Austin Martz is very aware of the clock running down.
Yeah, I think
just put that behind the defense to buy some time.
Aware of that, maybe not aware that Haji Bear was over on the very far side of the field, closer to his bench. We thought maybe he'll run onto it, not realizing that Haji Bear was about 70 yards away.
Jeanne has come deep for the ball, turned, but his pass is intercepted by Martz.
Now we got a 4v3 situation.
Lewis Neal got it cut under his feet, but got it back. Now he's put it out left for Pierre da Silva. Pierre da Silva, who provided the assist for the goal, giving it to Austin Martz on the other wing this time. Martz crosses left-footed. He chipped it to the far post, but no one was there. Now Finley Wyatt has a chance to take it, but the half-time whistle goes. It is 1-0 to OCB at half-time here at City Stadium.
It is a very low-energy end to that first half for the Kickers. Orlando City will be, I think, happy for it to be a low-energy end to that first half, given that they have that 1-0 lead. We'll head to half-time now. We'll come back to give our thoughts, figure out what both teams can do in the second half.
3 straight Saturday night.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna leave alone when I cross the line, standing high above this moment in time. Gonna push through the shine, gonna hold on tonight, 'cause I believe in love this moment in time. This moment in time.
Choose between between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
It's half-time here at City Stadium, Taylor. How do we feel about that first half?
I think if you're an Orlando City B fan, you feel pretty happy. You're on the road against a team that has given you problems in the past, but this evening really not causing any problems. Orlando City B executing their game plan perfectly, stepping at all the right times, sitting back at all the right times, and obviously getting their goals.
And what can the Kickers do to maybe switch this up? As we see the Saxon Ball kids here at halftime.
I think the Richmond Kickers really need an injection of life. I don't know if that means you put in a big guy up top and try to pump some balls into the box, have players running off of him. Saxon Ball kids, I think, agreeing that something needs to happen on the field to get things going.
You think they're having their own tactical team talk there?
I mean, it couldn't hurt. I mean, yeah.
Could they be saying maybe we get Frank Tayu in, get a big target man in there?
If honestly, I know you don't want to blow your substitutions too early, especially given the heat that you had to deal with in that first half, but I think if I'm Lee Kellishaw, I'm looking to bring in, maybe as you said, Frank Tayu to give you some height up top. I think I'm maybe bringing in Fred Owusu-Sekiri for Samuel Asante. I didn't see a lot from Asante in that first half. We saw him dropping back, but that really didn't help out much with the Richmond Kickers game plan.
As well.
He's on a yellow card as well.
There's also Yudai Imura on the bench. The thing is, though, we do know there have been some injury problems for the Kickers.
Yeah, as we cut from the halftime of warming up to the highlights of the first half.
Let's take a look. I think we're going to see a lot of Orlando City B chances in this one.
Chances and half chances. Early signs there from Orlando City B looking for the head of Haji Berry. And the head of Seb Hines as well. We know those are the two guys who are very capable of getting forward and getting involved in that attack.
It just occurred to me that an Anthony Poulis team, very much like father, like son, very much like a Tony Poulis team. A lot of targets to aim at and a long thrower.
And I think another very telling point of this first half would be Richmond Kickers, when they do get chances, more often than not, offside.
Yeah, really good offside line from Orlando City B is what we've seen.
And so, yeah, Daryl, to your initial question, as we get more of the highlights of the first half, or lowlights, depending on your perspective, I just think by the end we just saw the Kickers looking very kind of devoid of ideas. Orlando City B, quite the opposite, able to get that ball under control with Haji Berry and put it in the back of the net. Some really nice work from Pierre Da Silva to set that up. And some poor defensive work there from Evan Lee to deal with that ball cleanly. So I think the Richmond Kickers really just need an injection of pace, an injection of life. Maybe someone to just come in with a little bit of that belief. Maybe it is a veteran like Fred Owusu-Sekiri or Yudai Omura who can say, hey guys, we've been here before. Let's get it going. Let's all calm it down. Because it just feels like as soon as we've been in these games before, when your team isn't doing well throughout the season, as soon as that goal goes in, if you're in a positive position, if you're at the top of the table, then it's sort of, hey, we can fight back. That's not going to be a problem. When you're at the bottom of the table, it's a little bit more like, well, here we are again. Oh, well.
So we'll know when the Kickers come out for the second half. In that first minute, we'll know. Are they fired up, ready to go, or are they sort of accepting defeat? All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, there'll be a USL feature about the recent expansion news.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
The USL has expanded its soccer reach this week, announcing 2 new expansion franchises. Birmingham, Alabama has been announced as the first expansion franchise to join the league in 2019.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure on behalf of the USL to welcome Birmingham into the USL for the 2019 season.
Currently known as USL Birmingham, the franchise will announce their official name, crest, and venue at a later date. The team is set to build on the strong foundation of support built by local fans.
You know, Magic City Brigade, you guys have been amazing for us. We can't say thank you enough for your unwavering support. Without fans, we're not standing here. And so thank you guys. I really do appreciate that.
More information and advanced ticket sales can be found at uslbirmingham.com. Las Vegas will be the third and final club to join the league for the 2018 season.
This is our team collectively that we are going to make into the best professional soccer team that we can. And I can't be more proud to be part of all of you and to bring professional soccer to Las Vegas.
The club will call Cashman Field in downtown Las Vegas home, and the name is up to the fans. Visit vegasprosoccer.com through Monday, August 28th to cast your vote. Las Vegas will join the league in 2018, and Birmingham, Alabama will begin play in the 2019 season. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. Nope.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
I'm gonna leave when I cross the line. Standing high above this moment in time. Gonna push through the shine. Gonna hold on tight, 'cause I believe in love. This moment in time. This moment in time.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
At CBS 6 News, we aren't confined by 4 walls. Our office is out here in our community. CBS 6 News at 11, working for you.
Welcome back to City Stadium, where it's still Richmond Kickers 0, Orlando City B 1. We're still a few minutes from second half kickoff, but that gives us time to chat, Taylor.
Which is all I've ever wanted. It also gives us some time to check out some stats.
Yeah, so today's stats sponsored by GRTC. The big stat, obviously, Orlando City 1, Richmond Kickers 0.
I'd say the bigger stats there you can spot would be shots 6-2 in favor of Orlando City B, as well as fouls 9-3. Richmond Kickers very aggressive, very physical, or maybe having to make up for some sloppy play.
And you can see, so for example, there was a thing at the end of the first half where Luis Fernando was sort of jumping on Kevin Alston's back, trying to wrestle the ball off of him, and just conceded a free kick.
Yeah, I think trying to make something happen was Luis Fernando. I think we did see some signs of life from him, some signs of intent, but obviously they can lead to some fouls. Other telling stat would be yellow cards, 1 apiece. We'll see how that plays out in the second half.
I'm going to say saves. That stat is misleading because there are a couple of quite easy shots that Earl Edwards could just catch comfortably. No knock on Earl Edwards, more a knock on the shooting that came at him.
Yeah, I think so. And he's actually done a very good job, I think, to kind of calm things down, keep things secure at the back, make sure everybody stays organized. So too is Seb Hines, who I have to say, even though it's been Haji Berry causing problems and Pierre Da Silva with the dribbling, I think it's been Seb Hines really dictating this game so far.
I think the word I would use is imperious.
Yeah.
Right?
You would.
I would. Would you?
I'd say good.
Okay, fair enough.
Or dominant, if you will.
So we talked about sort of some of the problems the Kickers are having. One of those is the injuries, right? So like Oliver Minatel's not here, Braden Troyer's not here, Connor Shinovsky's not here, Marlon Roberts is not here. A lot of players missing. But we were looking at the names on the bench because the current 11 on the team, unless something changes heavily, are not getting it done so far today.
No, they're not. And first off, I think you're absolutely right that I think you can see in kind of the way that the team is approaching it that sometimes Finley Wyatt is getting forward, sometimes he's staying back. Sometimes it's Samuel Asante dropping deep, but then Oscar Umar and Sene Jane don't know to drop deep with him. So I think it's just sort of that lack of familiarity amongst the team because you have so many holes being plugged. It leads to a bit of inconsistency that I'm sure they'll try to rectify in this second half. As it stands, it looks like there are no new faces, no new names for the Richmond Kickers. Same is the case for Orlando City, who are both back on the field.
I mean, Orlando City B, obviously, right? They're winning 1-0. Everything was looking good for them. The Kickers, we thought maybe this would be the game where there are changes made at half-time, but that is not what has happened. We do know head coach Lee Cowdershaw does like to give instructions at half-time, then wait 10 minutes or so, see how things go.
He does, and we'll see how things go. I'm assuming they got a little bit of a talking to at half. That said, it was a subdued walk across the field into the locker room.
How do they look coming back out? Can you read sort of body language in terms of how they're revving up for the second half or not?
Not surprising, it looks like it's William Yambi for the Richmond Kickers, who's kind of bringing the team out, bringing the team together, trying to get everybody amped up, ready to go. For Orlando City B, who you see on your screen, it seems like it's a more relaxed approach because it can be, because they've got that lead. I think it's much more of a, hey, how do we see this one out? How do we make sure we don't concede any late goals?
And this is a big thing for Orlando City B, right? Because they are on that sort of 6-game streak of ties. They seem to be almost winning games, but then taking a tie. I think they conceded a late equaliser against FC Cincinnati last week. So there is something on the line for them here. They don't want to let a lead slip.
Yeah, as well as the fact that I believe they are currently 9th in the table, so just outside the playoff spots. A win here certainly helps them get closer to the playoffs.
Yeah, a bunch of ties won't get you in the playoffs, but they start turning those into wins, they can start climbing the table.
It will keep you from getting relegated, though, so at least there's that. Meanwhile, looks like we will have a change for Orlando City B.
Who do you see?
Orlando City coming on will be number 42, Zach Ellis.
Looks like it's going to be Zach Ellis Haven coming on for number 27, Rafael Ramos.
Yeah, okay. So we have Zach Hayden right back coming on.
Ellis Hayden on for number 27, Ramos.
So a change at right back. Sponsored by Elephant Auto Insurance. I wonder if did Rafael Ramos maybe pick up a knock somewhere? Because I thought he was having a fine game at right back.
The only thing I can say is that we did see him kind of miss some easy chances, play some bad crosses in there. So maybe they just wanted to get a different look, get a little bit more of a defensive effort, because Rafael Ramos seemed pretty intent on getting forward as much as possible.
I do know Zach Hayden gave away a penalty kick last week.
That he did.
So Kickers fans might be hoping he does that again. We are underway, second half at City Stadium. It starts with a long ball from Seb Hines. Evan Lee wins it in the air, but Pierre Da Silva gets it. Pierre Da Silva now running at the Kickers' defence once again, dribbling out wide, shoots at the far post, held by Matt Turner. Fast start from OCB. And I think we're seeing more of the same, where OCB are willing to dribble at the Kickers.
And the Kickers, I think, don't want to make too much contact, especially right near the box, knowing that Pierre Da Silva is a tricky player, so he has a little bit more freedom to go at them, take that touch, get that shot quickly. Matt Turner, I think, surprised by the shot coming in, able to parry it and then collect.
In hindsight, maybe not the best decision by Pierre Da Silva to take that shot.
No, but you can't blame him, especially when you've kind of gotten by the man. There's that energy, there's that enthusiasm of, oh, I've made something happen, let's see if I can finish it off.
Here's Evan Lee for the Kickers now. Goes out left to William Yambi. Kickers shape looking more or less the same to me. Although I see Baldock on the left and maybe Raul Gonzalez on the right. That may be the one change the Kickers have made.
Still Samuel Asante dropping in. Oscar Umar looks like trying to come deep to help him as well. We talked about that a little bit, that there weren't too many options for Samuel Asante when he did drop.
Luis Fernando trying to get away from defenders. Here he is, giving it to Baldock. Baldock from the top of the box shoots. It takes a deflection off of Carroll and goes all the way through to Earl Edwards.
Luis Fernando slow to get back to his feet. Did some good physical fighting there to win that ball, to keep that ball. Took a knock as he distributed it. I think maybe would have preferred the free kick there to that deflected shot.
Earl Edwards getting ready to kick. We know he likes to aim for Haji Barry, and why wouldn't he? Because Haji Barry tends to win things in the air.
A little collision there with Seb Hines for Luis Fernando. And then good defensive work to make sure that shot didn't come off cleanly.
The ball has bounced all the way through and out for a throw-in. Richmond Kickers throw-in. Finley Wyatt goes back to William Yumby. Yumby squares it to Evan Lee. Evan Lee takes a touch, looks up, gives it to Alex Lee. Kickers have switched flanks but not made any forward progress. Going back the other way now. William Yumby with a little bit of space to work in. Looking for a pass. Goes diagonal, picked off by Pierre da Silva. Here comes Pierre da Silva, great ball through the middle to Haji Barry. Yumby steps across. Good defending from William Yumby. Now here's Alex Lee. Lee with a bit of energy down the right here. Slows up, turns back. Alex Lee under pressure from Tony Rocha, and the ball is out of bounds.
It might just be the kind of quick transition from Orlando City B and the Richmond Kickers getting back into shape, but I'm inclined to say that they've switched to a 4-3-3, the Richmond Kickers, with Oscar, Samuel Asante, and Sonny Johnny as your kind of three compact triangular midfielders is the shape they're going for. Then you've got that front three of Raul Gonzalez, Matthew Baldock, and Luis Fernando.
Yeah, maybe the fullbacks are getting a little higher. Yumby wins the ball in the meantime. Here's Asante. Asante to Alex Lee. Lee to Raul Gonzalez. To Asante. Yeah, I think you're right. You're seeing the Kickers forwards not pull wide as much, and maybe they're going to sort of try and have sort of a numerical supremacy in the middle.
Yeah, and then you're seeing the fullbacks as well get farther forward as quickly as they can. Of course, that's going to lead to problems here.
Just like
quick
this.
Counterattacks.
And here's Haji Barry up against Yumby. Yumby so far has dealt well with all these Orlando counterattacks. But it's going to be a long night for him if he has to keep chasing those through balls for Haji Barry.
It is indeed, especially because, as you can see there, Haji Barry not inclined to give up easily. A lot of fight there to keep that one in bounds. And it will be a goal kick. Just 2 balls on the field right now.
Evan Lee receives the ball out of the back. Looking for a pass. Finds Alex Lee. Lee ready to go forward. Goes back to Evan Lee. Now Samuel Asante. To Jane. Jane left-footed, long ball out left for Finley Wyatt to run onto. Finley Wyatt's going to get there. That's a great ball. Wyatt meets it, fires it in low. Good block tackle from Seb Hines.
That's better from the Richmond Kickers there. Better sound to life, better direct play, and a good ball in from Finley Wyatt. Well dealt with by the Orlando City B defense.
And then you can see the Kickers' game plan working in terms of those fullbacks getting high up the field, getting crosses in.
Really nice work from Seb Hines there, though, to cut that one out. And cut it out cleanly, not put it back into play, but put it out for a throw-in, not even a corner kick.
Baldock now fighting for the ball in the corner. Hayden has seen it out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick.
Winners. We'll do our best to get the pronunciations correctly. Head on up to the Carytown Merchants Association table.
Earl Edwards with the ball.
Caden Thomas.
Is he talking to the referee or to his teammates?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Ken McGee, Ben Rhodes, Don Agee, Trey Maddox, John Clater, Aiden McDonald, Debbie Gutierrez, Bill
checking his
Madison,
socks as he prepares to take this
Zach
goal kick.
Edwards, Sierra Partenope, David Parkerslack, Sophie May, Grady
Ball goes long. Alex Lee fighting for it, wins it in the air.
David Parkerslack.
Haji Barry gets on the chest. Alex Lee clears it.
Those are the winners of our
Luis Fernando fighting Zach Carroll for that ball and has won a throw in. Leaves it for Raul Gonzalez. Raul Gonzalez goes quickly to Asante. Asante under pressure immediately, but holds onto the ball and wins a free kick.
Fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC, channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
Jane dispossessed by Austin Martz. March receives the return pass. Yombi's with him. Barry has it. Haji Barry accelerates by Evan Lee. Tackled by William Yombi.
Barry made a good run there, so too did Marth, but that ball in for Barry just a little bit behind him, so he couldn't take that one touch, had to take the second, and Richmond Kickers able to get back in position to get that ball out before any more dangerous play could occur.
And once again, I think it's worth explaining to anyone watching that the plan seems to be for the Kickers to push fullbacks high. It's going to leave Evan Lee and William Yombi exposed. You're going to see them having to do some heroic work to keep Orlando City B off the score sheet again. It'll make for some exciting soccer.
It will indeed, and I think you're also going to see the Richmond Kickers therefore being a bit more direct to try to get the ball forward so that you're not trying to mess around with the ball too much, get caught in possession like we saw them be earlier. But then you can lead to this where it's basically Luis Fernando getting held up by the bigger Orlando City defenders, leads to the free kick. This one about, I'd say, 35 yards from goal.
I see Alex Lee. Oh, sorry, I see Raul Gonzalez and Sonny Jane standing over him. Raul Gonzalez might fancy his chances from this free kick.
He also might fancy playing that ball wide to Finley Wyatt, who you see coming in just at the corner of the box. I bet he doesn't
I bet you'd rather shoot it go. Here goes Raul Gonzalez. Strikes into the wall. It found its way to Finley Wyatt, so we were both right. Raul Gonzalez gives it to Sonny Jane. Jane gives it him back. Gonzalez loses the ball under his feet, but still has it. Goes to Jane. Square to Asante. Samuel Asante. Ships it over the top for Luis Fernando. Carroll steps, wins. Haji Barry lays it off. Good first time pass from Rocha. He gets it back. Here's Tony Rocha. Looking for Haji Barry. Evan Lee gets there. Here goes Oscar Umar now for the Kickers. Into the feet of Jane. Jane running at Orlando. Puts it out left. Baldrick. Hayden steps. Good step from Zach Hayden, the right back. Who's just joined us for the second half. Here goes Austin Martz. Hitting that accelerator. Martz cuts back. There was a tackle, but Orlando still have it in midfield. Pierre da Silva to Kevin Alston. Seb Hines. Orlando with possession.
Just moments ago, as the Richmond Kickers get this ball back, Mike Callahan went over, had a word. It looks like it's going to be Fred Owusu-Sekira and Yurai Umura coming on for the Richmond Kickers. Had a talking to, had a few more moments to warm up, and now they're coming back onto the bench, putting on the jerseys and the shin pads, getting their final instructions. We'll see them shortly.
Tony Rocha of Orlando. Yellow card for number 16.
For that work, it looks like we're going to see a yellow card for Tony Rocha there for that foul on Luis Fernando, who's going to have a few bruises, I'd say, tomorrow morning.
All right, Kickers with the ball. Down the line for Finley Wyatt, who first times it into the path of Baldrick. Baldrick dribbles at Orlando, cuts it back. Jane from top of the box. Luis Fernando to chase. He's going to be able to keep it in, but not going to go at goal. Luis Fernando now on this right wing. Gives it to Alex Lee. Alex Lee with room to cross. Back to Fernando. Luis Fernando with two defenders blocking his path. Alex Lee goes to Asante. Asante looking for space to turn. Evan Lee to William Yombi. Now Finley Wyatt. Brave pass from Wyatt, finds Jane. Jane turns, was looking for Luis Fernando, but it's picked off by Tony Rocha. Now Seb Hines. Seb Hines outright to Austin Martz. Martz goes back to Ellis Hayden, the right back. Edwards goes long. Evan Lee kind of won it, played it into Pierre da Silva. Haji Barry plays it to Lewis Neal. Lewis Neal with a bit of space, gives it to Austin Martz, who's joined him. Chipped cross, Alex Lee makes sure, heads it out.
Corner kick for Orlando City B. We'll see if the Richmond Kickers make their change now or after this set piece is taken. My assumption is that it's going to be Samuel Asante and Sonny Jane making way. They just had a earful from Lee Kalishaw for not stepping up as much as he wants them to. It seems like the Kickers are trying to be more aggressive in the press in this half.
We're about to get a corner kick from Orlando City B. It's Hayden to take.
A little bit of physicality in the box there from both sides.
Puts it into the 6-yard box. It bounces all the way through.
I think Coach Pulis on the sideline, they're not pleased that that ball bounced multiple times before rolling out.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the corner kick.
I didn't see anything either. It just looked like nobody attacked it. And now we will see the changes. It looks like it is going to be Sane Jane and Samuel Asante making way. On come Fred Owusu-Sekire and Yudayamura. Both of these substitutions presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
So a straight swap in midfield is my guess.
I'd say
Yudayamura,
so.
a fan favourite here at City Stadium. We'll see if he can give them something to cheer about.
So it's going to be Fred into like the more holding role, number 4, as you can see on your screen, and then it looks like Yudayamura coming in, number 14. He'll be the more attacking midfielder for the Richmond Kickers.
Pierre da Silva now on the ball, under pressure. Gives it to Alston. Alston plays it down the line for Haji Barry to chase. Evan Lee goes back to Matt Turner. Turner to Lee.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Wyatt down the line. Boulder lays it off. Austin Martz takes it, plays it off of Yudayamura. It's going to be a Orlando throw-in to be taken by Zach Ellis-Hayden.
It's telling that the crowd is pretty animated at this point. It's because the Kickers mascot Kikaru is throwing T-shirts into the crowd.
I see.
I keep thinking something exciting is happening. I'm not understanding what's going on.
There's Kikaru.
Free T-shirts will always have that impact.
Hayden to take.
Orlando
He looks frustrated. No options.
Coming on is going to be number 63,
Haji
Scott
Barry.
Thompson.
Barry in the corner, up against Wyatt. Turns, comes away with it. Haji Barry to the end line. Tackled by William Yombi.
Turned Finley Wyatt pretty easily there. You wonder if maybe it's a little bit of a size mismatch. Finley Wyatt doesn't want to overcommit, but instead doesn't really commit enough.
Kickers leaning heavily on William Yombi's defensive skills there.
They certainly are. Meanwhile, Orlando City getting ready to make a change of their own. It looks like it will be Kevin Alston coming off. Former Richmond kicker Scott Thompson prepared to come on. Going to occupy that left flank, that left back spot.
Corner kick about to be served in. It's Pierre da Silva, left-footed. Goes to Hayden. It's cleared by Oscar Umar. Austin Martz has time to collect this under no pressure. Raul Gonzalez comes to meet him.
I think he had time to collect it, tie his shoes, read a newspaper, then maybe play the ball.
Earl Edwards goes long, looking for Da Silva. Da Silva, great touch on his chest there. A little push from Alex Lee. Little kick out of bounds from Raul Gonzalez to slow things down.
Just slow it down just a little bit. And now we will see that change. Kevin Alston coming off, Scott Thompson coming on. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance. Meanwhile, it looks like it is going to be Zach Ellis-Hayden coming over to play left back. Scott Thompson will stay at right back for Orlando City B.
Interesting. A lot of moving the fullbacks around for Orlando City B.
They just want to keep us on our toes, that's all.
Ken McGee, Ben Rhodes, Don Aiken,
Also looks like Pierre da Silva is going to switch flanks heading over to that right side.
Aiden McDonald, Debbie Gutierrez, Bill Masling.
He just got tired of getting shoved around right in front of us. He wanted to go back towards his bench.
David Parkerslack, Sophie
Here's
May,
Seb Hines.
Grady
Hines goes
Osborne,
long.
Brian Satchin, and Tadeo
Bounces out of bounds.
Congratulations. You're one of the Frisbee toss winners from the halftime contest. Refer to the Carytown Merchants table to claim your prize.
Some confusion about where the ball should be. It's going to be a kicker's throw on that left side. Finley Wyatt to take it when he gets the ball back from the Saxon Ball Kicks.
Forgive me, Darryl. I think it's actually maybe Austin Martz is going to be the right back for Orlando City B. Either that or they've switched to a back three. Scott Thompson's going to be your left midfielder, taking up where Pierre da Silva was. Now on the ball.
Here's Da Silva. Gives a little feint and shoots. That was a nice move to open up that space for himself there.
It was. It looks like he also opened up a little bit of discomfort for Finley Wyatt. He's down. Looks like maybe he rolled his left ankle there. Looks like he's going to need some treatment, not getting back to his feet. And that's definitely not what the Richmond Kickers will want to see, as you get a replay of that shot from Pierre da Silva.
So they have one substitution left.
They do, and you have to believe they're probably not hoping to make that change at their left back, who is an attacking player who they probably expected to play the full 90 minutes. I'm sure they would have much preferred to have a bigger forward up top to try to chase that goal.
Here's my guess. If they have to make a substitution, they'll still go with Frank Tayu and rearrange things behind him.
Yeah, and figure it out as best they can from there. Yeah, I think they're going to take as much time as they possibly can just to see if Finley White can recover from this one. As we see Lee Kalishaw, he's going to make some changes. Call Owusu Sikire over. I think maybe he's going to have a word about either formation changes or maybe just the way he wants to play in the final half an hour. But while they get that all sorted out, I'll let you know that the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL.
You'll find all the expansion news that you would have seen at halftime as well. Matt Turner to take this goal kick.
Finley White still out getting that treatment. Does look like he'll be able to continue, but we shall see. In the meantime, it looks like Matthew Bolduc is going to drop back in and function as a left back / left winger.
So the whole left side is all his. Here goes Scott Thompson.
No pressure or anything.
Ball down the left. Matt Turner kicks it long.
Looks like the Richmond Kickers trainers just gestured over at Lee Kalishaw with a thumbs down. So I'm wondering if maybe they will have to kind of try have a makeshift shape here to deal with Ethan Finley's injury.
Alex Lee heads it back to Matt Turner. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Excuse me, Finley Wyatt, not Ethan Finley.
If the Kickers had Ethan Finley, there'd be some quality crosses coming in.
But also a bigger deal if he went down injured.
Turner goes long. Gonzalez won it in the air and collected his own header, then got tackled by Zach Ellis-Hayden. Raul Gonzalez back to Evan Lee. Squares it to William Yumby. Yumby looks up, there isn't a left back. Bolduc has come running back. I mean, it's a tough thing, right? You really do have someone missing there. I believe Frank Tayu on the far side jumping up and down.
You are correct. No, but I laugh because you're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. William Yumby at least was able to figure that one out fast enough to not pass it straight out of bounds.
It's like a muscle memory thing, right? Yep. You just turn to the left and give it to your left back, and then there's just a big field of grass there. Evan Lee gets the ball forward to Raul Gonzalez, let it run. Udaimura chases it down. Earl Edwards clears it. Alex Lee lets it go. He's under pressure from Scott Thompson and goes back to Matt Turner. 27 minutes to go at City Stadium, plus added time. Long ball, won by Austin Marks, who I think is playing right back, Turner. Oscar Umar steps and wins. Scott Thompson gets away from two defenders and accelerates. Bolduc gets away from two defenders, accelerates, shoots from the top of the box.
Got a little bit of contact there at the end, but some nice work from Matthew Bolduc to evade two defenders and then get that shot off, and now we will see that change. It is going to be Frank Tayu coming on. It is going to be Finley Wyatt, who's already off, staying off. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance. Now it looks like the Kickers might just shift to a straight-up flat 4-4-2. Frank Tayu and Luis Fernando playing up top together, and that's probably exactly what you want. You want the big man who can win the balls. You want the quick guy with the technical ability who can dribble at defenders, and obviously Frank Tayu, the futsal player, has some good moves of his own.
That's what. Yeah, Tayu's a strange player like that because he is a big target man, but he's also got incredible foot skills. Good touch for a big man, I believe is how they say it.
Indeed. Speaking of big men, we've got two down. William Yambi, and I believe that is Haji Bari down. Maybe a little bit of a collision there on that 50-50 challenge, or maybe just a little bit of a cramp.
70th minute, the last call for both images. All three sales will stop after the 70th minute.
25 minutes to go at City Stadium. Richmond Kickers 0, Orlando City B 1.
While those players get treatment, the players get water. We'll say fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
We just saw, Tyler, a replay of the Yumby-Barry collision. It was more sort of like it was a mid-air collision, and then they got tangled up as they came down on the floor as well.
Yeah, it seems like both players getting back to their feet now. William Yumby not needing treatment, but is clearly in a little bit of discomfort.
He's doing some stretching, I think.
We're going to go ahead and say that's a contusion. Meanwhile...
Is that fancy medical talk for bruise?
Yes. And Haji Berry back to his feet, but obviously needed the trainer, so he will have to come off at least for a couple minutes. But I'm sure he'll be eager to continue.
You can see Frederick Sakiri talking to Scott Baldock there, planning the Richmond Kickers assault. Matthew Baldock, I'm sorry.
Anytime you can have your two smaller midfielders planning your entire attack, you know that you're in a good shape.
I'd let Frederick Sakiri plan any attack.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. And really, I mean, we call him Battling Fred for a reason. He is going to bring that energy, that dynamism, and that little bit of bite to the midfield that maybe it's been lacking in that first half.
Here's William Yombi. Moving a little gingerly.
And just checking to make sure that he does indeed have a left back before he plays that ball out wide.
And here's Owusu Sakiri. Yombi again. Yombi goes long, looking for Frank Tayu. Tayu with a flick, gets it back. Tayu with a turn, and plays it through to Oscar Umar. Oscar Umar shoots, it's blocked by Hayden. Owusu Sakiri collects and turns and gives it to Yuda Imura. You see what Frank Tayu brings to the game right there. Raul Gonzalez on the right, serves it in left-footed. Cleared left-footed by Seb Hines. Barry back on the field. Yombi got a foot to it, but it's gone to Pierre da Silva on the right. Left-footed Pierre da Silva dribbling at this right wing. Gives it to Lewis Neal. Lewis Neal could not get away from Owusu Sakiri, but that's because he was fouled, says the referee. Owusu Sakiri disagreeing heartily.
I think maybe suggesting that he get back on his feet or stay on his feet. Referee disagreeing, and it will be a free kick to Orlando City B on the Richmond Kickers side of midfield.
Rocha out to Hayden. Now playing left back. Back to Rocha. Now it's Carroll. Carroll goes back to Earl Edwards Jr. He clears it long, looking for Haji Barry. Yombi gets his head to it. Owusu Sakiri tried to take it on the chest. But here comes Lewis Neal with the ball for OCB. Lewis Neal with the ball. Out to Pierre da Silva. Da Silva has Neal again. He goes back to Austin Martz. Now Da Silva with a bit of space to run at. Cuts back inside. Gives it to Clovis. Clovis into Barry. Barry into Da Silva. Kick is clear. Oscar Umar plays it long for Tayu to chase. Out of bounds.
Good defensive position there from Austin Martz to make sure that Frank Tayu can't settle that ball, then does well to cut across and make sure he can't settle that ball and keep it in bounds, and it will be a throw-in for Orlando City B.
Throw-in taken by Martz. Da Silva has it. He's under pressure.
And Matthew Baldock thought he kept that ball in bounds. Yeah. The assistant referee would disagree. Throw-in for Orlando City B now.
It's about 20 minutes to go at City Stadium. Evan Lee into midfield. Owusu Sakiri to Alex Lee. Kickers advancing. Orlando City B backtracking. Here's Raul Gonzalez. Gonzalez pass is picked off by Rocha. Owusu Sakiri does the same. Fred Owusu Sakiri out right to Oscar Umar. Umar looks up. A firm cross. Tayu went for the header. Seems an Orlando defender got there first. Imura shoots from the top of the box. It's blocked. Big tackle from Rocha. Kickers still have the ball. Owusu Sakiri protesting.
It was a big challenge there on Owusu Sakiri. The referee was right there, had a good vantage point, no call given, and now Fred back on the ball.
Here he is. Tries to split the defence. Zach Carroll heads it clear. William Yombi collects on his thigh. Gives it to Evan Lee. Kickers putting some pressure on. For maybe the first time in this game, some sustained pressure.
Indeed, but that's the fourth or fifth shot we've seen from the Richmond Kickers that looked good but was blocked. Maybe they need to find some clear shooting options, or maybe just create one more passing option before they try to have that shot on goal.
Neal lays it off for Barry. Out left to Scott Thompson. Owusu Sakiri read it, got there first. Plays it to Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando takes it. Luis Fernando gives it to Frank Tayu. Tayu gets away from Seb Hines. Still has the ball. Top of the box. Shoots. Blocked. Tony Rocha can only get it as far as Owusu Sakiri. It looks like Tayu Was a little too physical, blocking Rocha, gets himself a yellow card.
Looks like it was the block maybe that put Rocha off, and then I think Frank Tayu added a little bit of a hand to him as he was in midair, so I think the referee didn't appreciate that shove, gives the yellow card for the overly physical play of Frank Tayu.
It's unfortunate because the Kickers had a lot of momentum going into that.
Yeah. But I think he's just, I mean, that's what you bring him in for, right? He's trying to create something. If he can get a shot off, he's going to take that shot. If he can fight to get that ball back, that's what he's going to do.
It's going to be an Orlando free kick.
But for those efforts, you see the yellow card on the screen for Frank Tayu.
Alex Lee now playing left back. Won that header. Going to get a second go at it. Wins it again. Pierre da Silva has it there. Gives it to Austin Martz. Down the line by Paul Clovis. Lewis Neal cuts back. Lewis Neal tackled by Fred Owusu-Sakiri, who step overs, turns. I guess steps over is the correct word. And here's Alex Lee. Matthew Bolduc. Owusu-Sakiri switches the field. Oscar Umar takes it. Good touch from Umar, but Zach Hayden was all over him. Zach Ellis Hayden. Here's Tony Rocha. Neal out to Pierre da Silva. Pierre da Silva up against Alex Lee on this right flank. Here he comes. He's caused the Kickers all sorts of trouble, but he ran straight into Alex Lee there.
I think one thing that I'm increasingly impressed by from Haji Berry is his ability to really cause confusion with the two center backs. He never lets himself get too close to either one, so neither one really never knows who's supposed to be marking him. So once again, he found himself in a little bit of space there, does well to create those opportunities.
Tayu still has the ball. Yudai Imura goes forward on the right. Oscar Umar lays it into the path of Raul Gonzalez. Up against Hayden, gives it back to Umar. Umar to Yudai Imura, top of the box. Left-footed, chips it, looking for Luis Fernando. Earl Edwards Jr. was off his line to collect and roll it out quickly.
Really nice build-up there from the Richmond Kickers. Nice vision from Yudai Imura. Spotted Luis Fernando at the back post, just couldn't get quite enough on it. And Earl Edwards off his line fast enough, read that play, does well to collect.
It looks like Haji Barry is onside. He goes with a heavy touch around Matt Turner. He's ran it straight out for a goal kick.
I think he wasn't really sure what to do, was still trying to decide, then realized that he was at the ball, and so too was Matt Turner. So did get by Turner, but also put it out of bounds for a goal kick.
So you were saying earlier that Barry's doing a good job of sort of not standing right next to either of the defenders.
Mm-hmm. So you can see, I mean, basically any time that Orlando City B have the ball out wide, he stays right between the two center backs. If one comes over to cover, he switches to the other one. So if he's being marked by Evan Lee, he'll switch to William Yambi. William Yambi will pick him up, but then he'll drift right back to Evan Lee. So he keeps them guessing.
He's like a hot potato.
He is. He also looks like a hot potato with maybe a sore hamstring or a sore quad. He reached back, grabbed his hamstring, I believe it was.
Bit of a tussle in midfield there. Tony Rocha goes down. Luis Fernando gets a talking to. Referee gestures him, gives him a yellow card.
Yeah, a booking for dissent.
The way he was
there.
gesturing off, I thought maybe.
Yeah, I got a little bit nervous for a second there. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Number 71, Fernando of Richmond.
So assuming Luis Fernando doesn't get another yellow card, we can think that maybe Luis Fernando will get 90 minutes today, which is rare for him. He's normally one of the guys that gets subbed out around the 60th, 70th.
He is, I think, with the Kickers burning all three substitutions. I think he probably would have been one to stay on no matter what, because you got to send more attackers in there. You probably always sacrifice one of your defenders. I'm just not sure it would have been Finley Wyatt.
Luis Fernando turns, gets away from Tony Rocha, looking for Frank Tayu on the through ball. Seb Hines collects. Nice ball from Pierre da Silva, but Haji Barry is offside.
It also does look like it's going to be Haji Berry maybe making way in these next couple minutes. Not sure if it's going to be Joe Gallardo or Michael Cox. I think we just caught a shot of Michael Cox getting final instructions on the far sideline.
Yeah, my guess would be Michael Cox. Not the Guardian writer. The Orlando centre forward.
The brain in a jar.
Alex Lee gives it to Matthew Bolduc. Orlando clear. Yombi collects. William Yombi goes long, looking for Frank Tayu. Tayu gets there, keeps it in. Up against Seb Hines, still has it. He's won a corner kick for the Richmond Kickers.
I mean, that's why you bring him in. He's got the pace, the physicality, the strength to hold off those challenges, to settle the ball, that technical ability to force the corner kick. Really nice work from Frank Tayu.
It's Matthew Bolduc to take. He's going to bend this in right-footed. Kickers haven't sent the centre-backs forward yet, so Frank Tayu will be the main target, maybe Oscar Umar as well. Ball comes in at the far post. I think Tayu couldn't quite get a foot to it.
I think he probably didn't see it coming. Nobody really dealt with that cleanly. Instead, it goes out. It will be a goal kick. And it will be Haji Bari making way.
Number 99, Michael Cox.
And Michael Cox coming on. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Haji Berry. Number 99, Cox, and number 13, Berry.
So positionally, we expect
City.
a like-for-like replacement. Michael Cox will go and play up front for Orlando City.
I'd say so. And a really impressive evening from Haji Berry.
Oh, yeah.
As he makes way finally. Was nursing a couple different knocks. I think had to deal with a lot of physicality from those Richmond Kickers center backs, but continuously caused problems and obviously got that goal. Great work for the Orlando City B striker.
Yeah, like physical work and mental work. Let's take one more look at the goal that Orlando City lead by, scored by the aforementioned Haji Berry.
Nice work from Pierre da Silva once again. Really nice finish to get those hips around it, put in the back of the net, pick his spot out under pressure. Great goal from Haji Berry.
So this is big for Orlando City right now. There's 6 games where they've tied in a row. This would be their first win. So they could technically have an 8-game undefeated streak with a win.
I think any Orlando City B fans listening would encourage you to knock on wood right now. 13 minutes remaining here at City Stadium. Kickers on the ball.
I only have metal and plastic. Through ball for Tayu to chase. Earl Edwards once again comes to the top of his box and collects.
And then takes it all the way back to the end line.
Running that clock down. Frank Tayu walking alongside him. I'm sure just keeping him company. Not trying to put him off for the kick at all. Edwards kicks long. Lee up against Cox. Cox, good win and touch to Lewis Neal. Gives it to Pierre da Silva. Pierre da Silva running against Alex Lee. Ran into Fredewusa Sakiri. Plays the ball to Matthew Boddock. Matthew Boddock, away he goes. Gets a Uday Amora, but a great slide tackle to win that back for Orlando City. And then Zach Carroll can clear. I think that was Paul Clovis.
Good defensive work there, but I think looks like Anthony Pulis wasn't too thrilled that even after that hard work, ball given right back to the Kickers off that long ball. I think he'd much prefer to see them slow it down, keep the ball, and not give the Kickers too many chances.
You saw that slide tackle one more time. Producer Mike must have liked it as much as I did. Here's Lee into the path of Uday Amora. Uday Amora for the Kickers, top of the box. Gives it to Luis Fernando, heavy touch, but he still has it. Turns back the other way, gives it back to Uday Amora, who gives it back to him. Somebody take it. Luis Fernando with a step over and gives it back to Uday Amora. Now out left with Alex Lee. Amora crosses. Oscar Umar wins it in the air. Luis Fernando lets it run. Pierre da Silva comes back and gets a touch. Now Zach Martz has it. He clears it for Michael Cox to chase. Handball call goes against William Yombi. Orlando City have it. The experienced Lewis Neal wanted to take that quickly, but the Kickers slowed him down. Was that Uday Amora came and slowed him down, I believe?
I think so. A veteran move there from Uday, because I think William Yombi stopped to have a word with the AR. If that ball had been taken quickly, could have been problems for the Kickers. Instead, it will be a slowly taken free kick.
Into the 80th minute here. Still Richmond Kickers 0, Orlando City B 1. And I believe no more subs for anyone to make. So the guys on the field are the guys that are going to see this out for both teams.
So I think Orlando City B are going to be content for the game to continue at this pace. The Richmond Kickers obviously going to try to step it up here in the final few minutes.
Carroll clears it. Yombi wins it against Michael Cox. And wins a free kick.
Folks at home, the USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Michael Cox up against William Yombi. Yombi went to ground. Referee's whistle is in his mouth. He comes across to talk to William Yombi.
Looks like it's the side pocket, not the back pocket, so it will be a yellow for William Yombi, who I think will consider himself fortunate. It did seem like Cox was away if William Yombi didn't make that contact.
Let's see it one more time. Yeah, and Yombi didn't make contact with the ball, I don't think.
I think his only saving grace there was that it did look like he was trying to play the ball, instead just a little bit too slow and made contact. I think had he have been maybe trying to make that professional foul, given that he was the last man, then you see the red card. Even so, I think he is pretty fortunate and maybe walks away as quickly as he can to not have to deal with the official for too long.
Paul Clovis standing over it. Clovis asking for 10 yards, I believe, from Matthew Baldock. Austin Martz to Pierre Silva. Martz down the line for Michael Cox to chase. Yombi gets there, puts it out of bounds. Orlando throwing. Leaves it for Austin Martz. Austin Martz to take. Throws it to Neal, gets it back. Close lifted it forward. Richmond Kickers throw in on that left side. Towards the end of the 82nd minute. Can you hear what the Richmond Kickers Red Army is singing, Taylor?
I believe they're singing the Yombi song, the In Your Head, the Cranberries cover, I think it is.
Zombie, not in your head.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
Luis Fernando turns in midfield.
My knowledge of the Cranberries from the, mid-90s? Not as good as yours, I'm assuming.
Oscar Umar, top of the box, gives it to Raul Gonzalez. Gonzalez shoots. It was blocked by Zach Ellis Hayden. First band I ever saw live. Second band I ever saw live.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that.
First was Metallica, if that helps.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I had a varied childhood.
I think I went Springsteen and then Wu-Tang.
Throw taken to Fred Owusu-Sikiri. To the end line. Crosses. That's a good cross from Owusu-Sikiri. Tayu couldn't get up. I think Hines impeded him, but not enough to give away any sort of free kick. OCB clear. It is out for a throw-in. Udaimura with the ball. Udaimura squares it to Fred Owusu-Sikiri. Owusu-Sikiri crosses it into the box, headed out by Seb Hines. Michael Cox, heavy pass. Lewis Neal couldn't get there. Kickers win it back. Here's Fred Owusu-Sikiri. Raul Gonzalez gave him the shout and gets the ball. Collects it on the right. Gonzalez has two defenders. Needs to find himself some space. Zach Ellis Hayden got a good tackle in. Ball has hit the corner flag and rolled out of bounds, and it's going to be a goal kick.
It's tough to see from this vantage point. I think we were both waiting to see what the official did. He took his time to point to that the goal kick.
Give away our trade secrets. we knew exactly what was happening. See this Owusu-Sikiri cross one more time. I think he was aiming for Frank Tayu, and something happened between Hines and Tayu there.
I think maybe Frank Tayu just got a little bit of contact as he went to jump, couldn't get it cleanly. No real call for a foul there, so I think maybe he just couldn't get it as cleanly as he would have liked.
I mean, it's okay to have a bit of hip to hip to put each other off, right? Loose-ish pass from William Yombi. Matt Turner gets there. Clears it. Umar to challenge. Zach Ellis Hayden wins it in the air. Tony Rocha collects it. Gives it back to Hayden. Hayden turns. Tried to play it forward. Oscar Umar gets a block, but it's still an Orlando City throw. Kickers are running out of time if they're looking for an equaliser. Hayden down the line. Cox collects. Heavy touch. Owusu-Sikiri's foot was high. That's a yellow for Owusu-Sikiri. No more of that, says the referee.
Yellow card's really starting to stack up for the Richmond Kickers. We're into the 85th minute. I'm curious, Daryl, do you think we're going to see one of our two center backs, Evan Lee or William Yombi, pushed forward into a more attacking position, or do you think this is about how it's going to be for the remainder of this game?
So the last game we were here, Ronnie Pascal and I were having this conversation. He said it tends to happen around about 85 to 88.
So I think it would usually be Malone Roberts, but Malone Roberts out with injury, so I'm guessing it'd be Evan Lee as we see the replay of that foul here, and it is a high boot from Owusu-Sikiri.
Scott Thompson wins that ball in the air. Michael Cox collects.
That said, given the height of Michael Cox combined with the lack of height of Owusu-Sikiri, maybe anything is going to be a high kick.
Shouldn't be a low kick.
Yeah, good point.
Offside.
It's going to be a free kick to Richmond Kickers for offside. I will say, comparing Michael Cox's game to Haji Barry's game so far, Barry has a much more sure touch.
Yeah, I think so.
Seen some heavy touches from Michael Cox. You can see why Barry starts.
I think that one heavy touch in the middle of the park might have had something to do with Anthony Pulis screaming, "Hold it," as he went to try to settle it. Imagine that adds a little bit of pressure if you're the forward, just trying to make that silky play.
You think his coach is putting him up?
I mean, maybe.
Raul Gonzalez here has no trouble controlling that ball.
I'm just saying, if it's you saying like, "Hey, time," I might settle it better than if you're screaming in my ear, "You've got time."
Here's Pierre da Silva, who's impressed in patches tonight. The patches being every time he's received the ball. Here he is. Couldn't find his way around Uday Mura, though. And here go the Richmond Kickers. Matthew Baldock gives it to Frank Tayu, lays it off one time to Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando dribbling at Orlando City B. He has Oscar Umar to his right. He gives it to him. Umar in the box. Oscar Umar shoots. Was going for that top corner. It was not a bad strike. It is just over. Great break from the Richmond Kickers.
Great break from the Richmond Kickers. Good work from Frank Tayu to drop back in, have that one-touch combination with Luis Fernando, who does well to get that ball forward. Finds Oscar Umar. Looked to be a very well-hit ball, but maybe just leans back a little bit at the very end, puts it over the far post. But for just a second there, it looked like it was going back of the net. Really nice shot in stride from Oscar Umar.
I'm going to give, I bet the up to guys will be giving Luis Fernando a key pass.
Yeah. And I think he deserves it.
Yeah, it was an excellent pass.
I'm sure he would have preferred an assist, but I'm sure he'll take the key pass.
Kicked along by Earl Edwards. Over midfield. Missed by Yumbi and Awusu-Sakiri. Evan Lee steps for it though. Heavy touch from Oscar Umar. He still has it. Hit it too hard for Raul Gonzalez. Now Orlando City B have the ball back. Rocha to Clovis. Clovis taking his time. Gives it to the advancing Austin Martz. Martz to Pierre da Silva. Pierre da Silva plays it out of bounds. I think we've seen da Silva's touch get a little sloppy in these last few minutes. It was da Silva that gave the ball away for that kicker's break. Joe.
It's almost like we're in the 88th minute of a game that began in like 95 degrees with 80% humidity.
Here's Raul Gonzalez on the right.
Then again, this is Orlando. I'm pretty sure they're used to dealing with hot, humid situations.
This is winter for them, right?
Corner kick coming up.
Kickers have a corner. It's the 89th minute. I see Evan Lee going forward. I see William Yumbi going forward. Kickers are going to stack the box with the big guys for the final couple of minutes.
I see goalkeeper Matt Turner almost at midfield, backed off just a little bit. Only Alex Lee, the Richmond Kickers outfield player, back.
Corner comes in. Over everybody. Yumbi chases. Drops it to Uday Imura. Imura crosses to the back post, looking for Baldock. It was a little too long, and Baldock was offside. I saw the flag go up.
Overhit there on the corner kick, as well as that service into the box from Uday Imura. Richmond Kickers will hope they get one more chance, and we'll hope that Matthew Baldock can continue. Looks like he stretched a little bit, might have gotten a bit of a cramp.
Not long to go at City Stadium. We'll soon know how much added time there is.
Ball on the back post, just a bit too long for Baldock, who, as you noted, was offside. So even if he kept it in bounds, would not have mattered.
Edwards goes long and left. One in the air by Awusu-Sakiri. Luis Fernando gives it him back. He says go, go to Oscar Umar. Oscar Umar chases. Zach Ellis-Hayden gets there first. Ball is out of bounds. It's a corner kick. Richmond Kickers get another chance to tie this game.
Good work there from Oscar Umar. Definitely looked like maybe that was going to be a foul of desperation. Instead, he does well just to maybe make sure that Zach Ellis-Hayden can't get too comfortable and ends up playing it off of him out of bounds for a corner kick to the Kickers.
Raul Gonzalez to take. Once again, everybody forward. Even Alex Lee is forward. Tayu gets ahead to it. It goes down. Oscar Umar strikes it. It's blocked. And the attempted clearance hits Freddie Awusu-Sakiri and goes behind for an OCB goal kick.
Meanwhile, OCB player down in the box, not sure who it is from this angle, but a lot of pain there. 4 minutes of stoppage time here at City Stadium. That might be added on to as we're going to get some treatment. I think that might be Zach Carroll who's down in the box.
Yes, I believe it is. If he's wearing number 71, then he is.
Did you just scroll through the back line and realize that there was a large man missing and conclude that it was probably a center back?
Yep.
If so, that is what I did as well.
See the Kickers coach is looking kind of nervous. They know there's not long to go here.
Nervous is one word. I'd say angry is another. Maybe frustrated is the way to go with it. And you can understand that. It hasn't been the season that Richmond Kickers players, coaches, or fans are used to. And not a lot of answers to be found in these final few minutes if you're that Richmond Kickers coaching staff. As we said, we saw them walk off the field. Roughly similar looks when they exited for halftime as you're seeing right here on the bench.
I feel like someone should tell them when they're on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give them some warning.
I think we also are seeing like a fair amount of bugs on the field. I think the Nats are having their way at the moment. That probably didn't help them look any more pleased with the situation.
Earl Edwards Jr. with the kick. Michael Cox collects. Goes back to Scott Thompson. Plays it back up the line. Cox controls. Holds off with Sakiri, who goes down holding his face. Referee is going to go to the sideline. Talk to his assistant.
I'm wondering if maybe the center back came back onto the field before he'd been weighed back on, if Zach Carroll maybe hadn't been told he could re-enter play. And that's what the issue is.
Or could it be why is Freddie Sakiri holding his face?
That could be that as well.
You see with Sakiri talking to the assistant referee there about that incident. I'm not a primary care physician, is what the assistant referee is saying. Referee is back on the field. You can see him top left of your screen there.
It is going to be a booking, not sure for whom.
Maybe it's what you said. Maybe it's Carroll coming on without permission.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he's gesturing to the far side, maybe saying, I was told I could come back on, but you still got to wait for the center official.
All of this is working to OCP's advantage, though, because it's running the clock down.
Except that that's a second yellow, which means a red card for Orlando City B.
Of course, Zach Carroll had that professional foul early in the first half.
He certainly did. So now in the final few minutes, the Richmond Kickers will have a man advantage. You can imagine that he's not going to be too motivated to get off the field, particularly quickly, Zach Carroll.
Okay, so for a couple minutes, it's going to be Richmond Kickers with 11 men against OCB with 10 men, missing a centre-back.
I genuinely have no idea what's happening here. It looks like it's going to maybe be a drop ball right near the 6-yard box.
Much confusion.
Or a free, it's going to be a free kick for the Richmond Kickers right there on the end line.
Do you know why it's in that position?
I don't, other than maybe it went out for a goal kick and he didn't wave them back on. And so maybe it's being given roughly from where the goal kick was taken. That's all I can figure. Pretty curious situation here. Maybe if we get some replays, we'll be able to sort it out. But for now, it looks like it's going to be a free kick. Fred Sakiri standing over it. Not much time left here at City Stadium if the Kickers are going to make anything happen. It's going to be right here.
To the back post. Uday Moore with the header. Blocked. Hayden gets up, puts it behind. Referee points to the 6-yard box for a goal kick. So we don't know why the Kickers had that free kick, but it was a really good opportunity for them.
It was. I think the only thing I'll say is Uday Moore might have had more luck if he'd put that one on frame. I think he tried to put it back across the goal, but he was pretty wide open to that back post. You wonder if he put it near side, if maybe that ball is on the back of the net as opposed to out of play for a goal kick.
So we temporarily have Zach Ellis-Hayden playing centre-back, and Scott Thompson has moved back to left-back for Orlando City B. They don't have long to see this out. Long kick from Earl Edwards. Cox fighting. Yombi gets his head to it. Anna's won a free kick. So it's going to be a Kickers free kick. Matt Turner's come forward to take it. So Michael Cox just slowing the ball down there.
In a very crafty way, just that accidental leave behind.
Turner goes short to Uday Imura. Looks up. Imura crosses into the box. Yombi gets a head to it. Referee has called something on William Yombi.
I'm going to say...
Looks like holding.
Yeah, I'm going to say he went over the back, maybe used the shoulders for leverage, so it will be a free kick, and that might just do it at City Stadium for the Richmond Kickers this evening.
Let's have a look one more time.
Good delivery into the box.
Yeah, I mean, he had a hand on the shoulder, but only just because that's where his hands were.
Yeah.
There was no downward pressure.
No, only thing I
saw.
can figure is maybe he came over the top of Seb Hines, maybe coming in from an angle, not going straight up in the air.
Either way, free kick, which Earl Edwards takes. He kicks high and long. Cox will challenge. Pierre da Silva. Tackled, but wins a throw. Orlando City B throw deep into added time. Referee blows his whistle. 2 short blows and a long one means it is full time at City Stadium. Score on your screen is Richmond Kickers 0, Orlando City B 1. Taylor, deserving winners, Orlando City B.
Absolutely. Fought well, got that goal, took their chances, sat back, frustrated the Richmond Kickers. Played exactly the game they needed to play, especially in these conditions, especially on the road. Orlando City B will be happy with those 3 points. For the Richmond Kickers, a very slow first half. I'd say a better second half. Lots more energy in those final 20 minutes or so, but still not enough as they will lose at home once again this season.
If the Kickers want to pick it up, then next week they will be at home against Toronto FC 2. We'll be back for that one, Tyler. That's Saturday, August 19th, Richmond Kickers versus Toronto FC 2, 7 p.m. Eastern at City Stadium. That'll do it for us here at City Stadium, Taylor. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna leave when I cross the line, standing high above this moment in time. Gonna push to the side, gonna hold on tight, 'cause I believe in love. This moment in time, this moment in time.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.